Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful video and such a great insight. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to this session 4 of the Certified Training Session series arranged by Vardhaman Consultant. I would like to give you a quick introduction about our speaker for the evening, Mr. Amit Vardhan. Mr. Amit Vardhan has completed his MBA in Finance from Chanakya Institute of Management in the year 2009. He has also completed his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from D.Y. Patil College of Engineering in 2007. He has more than 11 years of rich industrial experience. And currently, he is the managing director at Vardhaman Consultant for around 5 years now. We would like to hear from you, sir, on today's interesting topic, which is peer to peer lending. Over to you, sir.
Thank you everyone for joining today in the evening. I hope the session would be insightful and will help you to make better financial decisions for your future. Uh, so P2P is peer-to-peer lending. Has anybody heard of P2P lending here? And before we go through the full session, would just like to confirm, we'll just like to ask whether you want the session in Hindi or English. You can put in the chat box whether you want the session in Hindi or English, or you're comfortable with both. आप सेशन हिंदी में चाहेंगे या हिंदी में इंग्लिश में चाहेंगे, प्लीज अब जरा बताइए, चैट बॉक्स में आप बता सकते हैं. Yes, I think everybody is comfortable in both the language. Okay, sounds good. Okay, fine. Okay, now since we are discussing on P2P lending, have any of you guys heard about P2P lending? Anybody has any idea? You can say yes, no, whatever it is. No, okay. Ms. Babita Sharma is saying no. How about rest? Can you please let me know what is your have you heard about P2P lending or not? I think nobody has heard. Very good, fantastic. So let me tell you that P2P lending is nothing but old wine in a new bottle. The old business of lending money to your friends, family is now being modernized and with better risk management. Okay, we'll give you a look at how things are done. Okay, before we start, that's the agenda of the day, of the evening. Agenda. So what is traditional lending? What is P2P? Who are the parties for P2P lending? What are the tax implications? Illustrations from a lender's perspective. If you invest, how much you can get returns and what would the tax implication, and comparison with different others financial instruments. Fees and other charges, exit and risk associated, how one can exit, and what is the risk associated with P2P lending. First and foremost, this is the traditional method of lending money. One used to go to bank and deposit its money in a fixed deposit, and the bank would, on the other hand, would lend the money to the borrower. In between, bank charges a huge chunk to the borrower and pays very less to the fixed deposit holder. Hence, to enhance the profitability towards the lender, what what is being done in the P2P lending is basically bank is being removed and a portal is being introduced in between. We'll discuss about the portal on the later half. Okay. So this bank is removed and the portal will come into the place. Now the traditional method is usually as a lender you get a very less amount or interest. Okay. So that is the biggest problem. And for the borrower, it is very much an offline process. Nowadays, to some extent, it has been online, but still, more or less, the major process is still offline. Now, in this, the second way of lending was to family and friends, which asking money from a family or a friend is always a tedious task, and your relationship is always at stake. If the money is not returned on time, then the relationship goes for a toss. Agreed on this part? Your views are welcome, please. So this is again, hence lending to a family or friend, usually people don't like to do because relationship always come at a stake. Now what is P2P? There's a short description in the diagram, in the picture which you can see. There are investors who invest money and there's a borrower who pays the loan. And there's a company in between, there's a portal in between which combines the two. Basically, it's a marketplace where marketplace is basically where two people meet. For example, Amazon is a marketplace where sellers and buyers meet. Similarly, these portal will make the lender and the borrower meet at two places. At one place so that the investor or the lender gets a better interest rate and the borrower doesn't need to pay higher interest rate, and there is an ease of working also. So knowing more about P2P in the more structured way, RBI has given a term as NBFC P2P for these P2P portals. And all these portals have to be registered by RBI. So basically, what the business of P2P portal is to facilitate borrowing and lending online, basically. And it should have a minimum network of 2 crores. Scalable information technology infrastructure should be placed to handle the business. Basically, it should be a fintech company. These are the regulations as per the RBI. And it should get a certificate of registration from the Reserve Bank of India, which I've already told. And these are the permissible business activity facilitating e-platform and online marketplace, conducting due diligence of participants, whether it is a lender or borrower. One needs to do the due diligence, undertaking credit assessment and risk profiling of borrowers, and disclosing the same to the lenders. Basically, whether the borrower is whether the borrower's credit score is less, more, or it has its own house, whatever his salary is, all these profiling is done by the portal. Okay, and this is shown to the lender before the lender approves to decides to invest into with the borrower or decide to lend to the borrower. Am I being clear on this part? So undertaking the credit assessment and risk profiling of the borrowers and disclosing the same to the respective lenders. Usually a different platform does differently, and each platform will have their own respective algorithms to calculate the credit risk assessment. Okay. Another thing is that all these platforms will have their own scoring patterns, and accordingly one can it becomes a little easier for the lenders to decide where to give the money and what is the risk they are taking while lending the money. Obtaining consent for participation to access their credit information, documentation for the loan agreement, other necessary documentation. All the documentation would be done by the portal or the P2P portal, NBFC P2P. Providing assistance in disbursement and repayment of loan. Okay. Loan recovery services from loan originator on the platform. If a loan is taken from a platform, from their platform, and if someone is not paying, the recovery services will be done by the platform itself. Storing and processing all data information related to its activity and participant on hardware located in India. So as per the RBI regulation, the data needs to be kept in India itself. It cannot be stored out of India. If anybody has any questions, they can put in the chat box so that we can answer them simultaneously. Later on, we can have a full-fledged question answer session also. Prohibited activity to the P2P portals or the NBFC P2P. It should not accept deposit as defined under RBI Act. The portal is not supposed to accept deposit on their own name. Okay. It should do business of lending. It should not do business of lending. They should not give money to borrowers directly also. They should not give their own money to the borrowers. It cannot arrange or provide credit enhancement or guarantee services. These P2P services are 100% unsecured. Hence, a credit guarantee cannot be provided. It shall not facilitate cash transaction. No cash transaction is allowed. No secure lending to be allowed on the platform. As I said before, this P2P platform are always 100% unsecured. Cross sell of products are not allowed except specific loan specific insurance products. International flow of fund is also prohibited. So these are the parties to P2P lending: lender, borrower, and the online platform. Very simple, correct? So we'll go ahead now. So who can become a borrower? To become a borrower, one needs to register with the platform. Evaluation of loan by online portal will be done as to how much loan is required by the borrower, which category that borrower will fall into in terms of the credit history and its related data, which the algorithm calculate. Loan approval by the online portal, whether this particular person can be given loan or not. If yes, at what interest rate also, which needs to be decided. Physical verification and loan agreement, loan amount to be funded, interest rate and risk category assignment, disbursal of money direct to the bank account, again no cash transactions, prepayment of loan through NACH to escrow account only. Okay, I hope this format is clear. Incentive to become a borrower: lower interest rate in the range of 12 to 30%, seamless online process, no collaterals, no prepayment charges after the payment of first 3 installment. It again depends on portal to portal. The aggregate loan taken by borrower at any point of time across all P2P shall be capped to maximum of 10 lakhs. A borrower cannot take a loan of more than 10 lakhs. All borrowers are only individuals. It cannot be a company to take a loan. A company or institution is not allowed to take loans. Only a single individual person is allowed to take loan via the platforms. I hope I am clear on this part. So what are the kind of borrowers? For example, this is Mr. Sumit. He has a salary of 18,000 and he wants to start business on his own. He has a good score but has never defaulted on his payment. He approaches the bank for the loan but is denied stating the bank policy that a salary below 10,000, 20,000 will not be entitled for any loan. So hence, Sumit approaches a platform. Basically, whenever we require any loan, our first choice would be a bank. Okay, but here, it is not that only people who does not have a good credit score will only come to the platform. Hence, I am giving these kind of examples so that you can understand which kind of people do come to this platform for borrowing the money. I hope this example is understood. If there are any questions, please let me know. The second kind of borrower is, this is Ms. Surbi. She's a young entrepreneur. She wants a personal loan of 3 lakhs. However, she does not have any credit history because she had never taken a loan. So if you want to have a good credit history, you should always take a loan. If you don't want to take a loan, at least take a credit card. It will help you to build your credit score. So what does Surbi do? Surbi does, she approaches an NBFC P2P, basically a platform where a P2P lending platform where her credit score would be evaluated at the platform, upon which the rate of interest would be decided. Upon successful registration, she can become a borrower. Okay. I hope you guys are with me till this point. Now, what could be a third kind of borrower? For example, this is Mr. Raji. He has used a credit card of rupees 2 lakhs. Okay, and he has only 45 days to pay, but he does not have the money right now. So instead of paying a hefty interest rate of 3.5% on a monthly basis, what he does is he takes a loan from P2P and at a cheaper rate and pays off the credit card loan, and he will pay the EMIs for his loan from the P2P at a easy rate, lower rate. Are you guys with me? Okay, thank you, Mr. Grover. Thank you, Satyaprakash. So now it comes for you guys whether who can be a lender. So any Indian resident, individual or institution can become an lender. Okay. Even NRIs can become lender, but they have to invest through an NRO account for them. What are the documents required? The standard documents are PAN card, bank statement, and address proof. But depending on the platform, the document can be a little tweaked in. At times they might add or subtract. These three will be surely asked, but additional documents at times might be required depending on the platform. Because there are many, around 20-25 platforms are available in today's market. So to become a lender, one needs to register as an investor, review active borrowers. So you can check which are the borrowers available in the marketplace. Invest money in the desired loan project. You can invest money as per whomsoever you like. Loan amount to be funded. Physical verification and loan agreement. Usually this can be done via e-sign method also. Transfer of fund to escrow account. Receive monthly payment from escrow account. Basically, once you invest, you get EMI starting the next month itself. So what are the incentive to become a lender? Attractive interest rate. You can get an interest rate of 12 to 30%. Right to choose the borrower. You decide whom you wish to give the loan to. It is not that so basically whomsoever you're giving the loan, you know the full detail of that person and why you're giving the loan. In fact, they will also mention why they want the loan. Hence, you have the full detail of the loan whom the loan is to be given. Unlike in banks, you deposit the money, the bank will decide where to give the money. If the bank turns NPA, again that is a problem, right? Nowadays, many banks have been shutting, like PMC, even Lakshmi Vilas Bank it was saved by merging with DBS Bank. But then there have been problems like Kapol Bank. There are many other banks which have been closed. So we can always search for an alternative. Minimum amount of lending can start with rupees 750 and maximum amount of lending is up to 50 lakh rupees at any point of time across all the P2P platform. One cannot invest more than 50 lakh rupees in all the all P2P platform across. The exposure of lender to the same borrower across all P2P platforms shall not exceed 50,000. One cannot invest more than 50,000 rupees to a single borrower. Okay. Hence, there is a diversification of risk. Okay, because you are not investing your full amount into one particular person. Your risk is being diversified. And most importantly, a regular monthly inflow of your interest income via EMIs. Mr. Grover will come to the platform charges sooner. Which platform has maximum market share? Sir, I really don't want to discuss on which platform has maximum market share right now because I don't want to sound biased to any platform. Hence, I'm not discussing on any. I'm not going to take any names of any platform. I hope you understand. I hope till this point everybody has been clear. So let's come to the tax implication. The interest rate earned from P2P loan must be mentioned while filing income tax return, and this will come under income from other sources. Tax had to be paid according to the slab tax, the slab the lender would fall under. So if you are under 30% taxation, you will have to pay 30% tax. If you are under 20%, 20%, 10%, then you have to pay 10% tax. If you are not falling under any taxable category, you don't have to pay any tax. The best part is if you invest in bank FD, the bank will deduct TDS. But if you invest in P2P platform, there is no deduction of TDS by anybody. Clear? So the thresholds are monitored by the platform and RBI. Mr. Anil Grover has asked me a question. How are the thresholds monitored? Monitoring is done by RBI and the platforms. Am I clear, sir? So you have better, so your TDS does not get deducted. So again, it is better than fixed deposit in that way. So we are doing some examples of what is the amount invested into P2P. What if the amount is same amount is invested into bank FD? We are going to do some comparison for you guys. So for example, if you invest in fixed deposit nowadays, you get a return of around 5.5%. So if you invest 10 lakhs, you will get an interest of 55,000. If you invest in P2P, if you invest 10 lakhs, you're going to get an average return of, say we have assumed an average return of 15%, and you will get around 1,50,000. Sounds good, isn't it? Yes, Mr. Grover. So Mr. Grover has asked whether advance tax would be required to be paid. Yes, advance tax would be required to be paid as per your taxation. So the second example, again, here we are getting in FD 5.5%, but what we have compared is we have just diversified from 12% to 30%. We have just put randomly the interest rate, and the total interest earned through P2P, if not at 12%, it is in fact almost 18% on an average basis, because you cannot invest more than 50,000 to one particular borrower. You cannot give a loan of more than 50,000 to one particular borrower. So if you are supposed to invest 10 lakhs, or if you are supposed to lend 10 lakh rupees, you have to divide that minimum by 20 people. Okay, and everybody will have a different tax, different interest rate associated. Hence, the return are tend to be can be on the higher side also. Agreed? Any questions on this, or we can move ahead? Okay. Chalo, great. Now this is the second example of 10 lakhs kept in FD for a year compared to the amount lent through P2P along with the default risk. So I'm just trying to cover the default risk here. For example, if you keep in FD, you are going to get straight 55,000. We are not considering taxation here. But if you keep in P2P, assuming an interest rate of 15%, you are going to get 1,50,000 interest earned. So your net extra income earned is 95,000 extra from your fixed deposit. Okay. So what if there is a default? Since okay. Okay, Mr. Grover is asking what is the probability of default, and Mr. Satyaprakash is asking, can you explain about diversification? Yes, we are covering this on default. The probability of default, to be very frank, the average industry NPA is somewhere around 4 to 5%. Okay, again depending on the portal to portal and depending on the which kind of borrower you have selected. If you have selected a high risk borrower, the chances of default can be a little higher. If you have selected a low risk borrower, the chances of default would be low accordingly. So to give a ballpark figure would be very difficult. Hence I am giving you this range and trying to explain you how this will work. So for example, usually if you give 100 rupees to if you're giving 100 rupees and you're dividing by 100 people, for example, you are giving 1 rupee each. So assuming that 5% of five people do not want to return or not able to return by because of XYZ reasons. Okay, because the reasons can be many. The person does not want to return the money, the person has lost his job, or the person is no more, for example. In those cases, the default risk goes up. So what we suggest in diversification to reduce the default, we say is that instead of giving 100 rupee to one person, you divide 100 rupees to 100 people, so your default risk come down on a heavily side. So if you're giving, I'll explain why. How? For example, again, if you have 100 rupees and if you're giving it to only two people, okay, 50 rupees each, even if one person defaults, your risk is of 50%. But if you give to 100 people 1 rupees each, if two people also default, the risk is only of rupees 2. Are you with me on this? Have you understood the risk and the diversification? Okay, great. So usually it is around 3 to 5% or 4 to 5% the default risk, but still I'm giving a range till 10%. Usually that does not happen. Okay, so if there's a default of 3%, okay, you are still making an extra income of 60,000 in comparison with FD, fixed deposit. FD is giving you 50,000, this is still giving an extra income of 60,000. If the default is 5%, then FD still the extra income from P2P would be 37,000 rupees. If the default is 7%, we are again going on the very higher side. If the default percentage is 7%, still you are on the higher side of the income in terms of P2P. You are still going to get 14,500 rupees extra. Okay. And if the default goes up to 10%, then you are still in positive in terms, you're still getting full amount of principal plus some amount of interest, but a little less than your fixed deposit. So even if it goes up to 10%, your principal is highly intact. No, I have taken the platform charges also, Mr. Grover. Okay, Mr. Grover has asked 15% interest has been assumed exclusive of platform charges. No, it is inclusive of platform charges. Usually the interest return or the return would be in the range of 15 to 20%. But again, what on the type on what kind of borrower you select, and the charges usually ranges in the range of 1 to 3%, depending on the platform again. Yes. So Mr. Ari Muthukumar is asking, what are the recovery chances from default? The recovery chances are high because nobody in nowadays time does not wants to uh, score their credit score, because everybody wants a housing loan, everybody wants an education loan for their child. So people don't want to default very easily nowadays, because if they default, there's a problem for them in the future. I hope you are understanding my point. So I hope this slide has been clear in terms of the default risk, which I've explained. Moving on. So this has been compared with a debt mutual fund. If you keep in debt mutual fund, for example, you get a 9% return again, which is on the very higher side. Nowadays, debt mutual fund give you around 6-7%. But even if you keep in a credit risk fund, probably you can get a 9% return. Assuming you are getting a 9% return, okay, and 9% return, and year, and this is for 5-year duration. The tenure of the investment is 5 years. And if you invest the same amount here, uh, post tax, this is what I'm calculating post tax. Post tax, the return would be a lot higher than your debt funds. So return in debt fund is on the extra, or the profit is 3 lakh rupees on debt fund, but on P2P side the profit is 6.5 lakh rupees on the roughly estimated basis. So extra income is almost 3,42,000 rupees. And this I have done after indexation for the taxation. So the indexation has been explained here, that the 10 lakhs invested, after 5 years the index value would be 11 lakhs 85,000, and after the total value the taxable value is 3,80,000, upon which 20% long term capital gain tax. So the total tax would be 3 lakh, total income would be 3 lakh rupees after the deduction of 76,000 rupees, which is of tax. Am I clear on this? Mr. Grover, I will take this question a little later. Is that fine? Mr. Grover is asking a question: is there is a reinvestment risk? Further, there would be always gap in getting recovery and deploying money. I'll surely answer this, but at a later stage. So now amount, this example 5, we are comparing this to equity mutual funds. Okay, now equity mutual fund is giving a return of around 12%. Since the taxation in equity mutual fund is very less, the gap between equity mutual fund and P2P lending is very less, negligible. The only point why I'm highlighting this is that in equity mutual fund, usually you get a roller coaster ride. The returns are not flattish. Sometimes it is minus 10%, sometimes it is plus 20%, and then you get a return of an average of 12 to 15%. Hence, P2P lending is better because there is no headache as such, that there's always a tension that the funds might go down, or there's a roller coaster that is showing negative. that emotional strain one needs to take when investing into equity. So that strain is not here, or that stress is not here in the P2P lending. I hope you guys are understanding this. Example 6. Here I have just taken the taxation into consideration and checking, and if you are reinvesting, okay, so if you are reinvesting your amount, you will be getting a CAGR of 13%. If you are reinvesting your amount, even if you fall under 30% tax bracket, your net return still would be 13%. This is a 5-year calculation which we have shown here. Now this is for 20% tax bracket. If a person is falling under 20% tax bracket, the CAGR here would be around 15%, which is again on the higher side. Similar, if you go for 10% taxation, the CAGR or the compounded average growth rate is 17%. And if you go for zero taxation, the return or the CAGR is 19%. Basically, in 5 years, your money is being doubled. Amazing, it is, isn't it? Mr. Anil, since you were asking about reinvestment, so this is the calculation which I have showed for reinvestment. Reinvestment risk will also come in FDs. For example, we have invested in FD 5 years ago at the rate of 9%. Today, you are getting somewhere around 5.5%, 6%, or probably 5% to be very frank. So that is also an reinvestment risk. You are dropping your income by 4%. Yes, we have taken all these scenarios as zero default just to show the compounding effect. And we have taken the returns also on the lesser side, to be very frank. So if you want, you can understand even if it is okay. So even in this scenario, even a 10% return, even if I cut down the CAGR by 3%, it is 10%. It is still at a very high level. Correct, Mr. Grover? Even if I get 10% CAGR, which is almost double in the current scenario in terms of fixed deposit. Agreed, sir? So it is still on a higher side. Hence, you can still enjoy a better return compared to your fixed deposit or probably even debt mutual funds. Okay. So what is the role of the online platform? Profile verification, credit risk assessment, physical verification of the borrower, loan funding and disbursal, agreement and contract, loan monitoring, repayment and collection. So basically, similar to what a bank does, okay, before giving a loan to any person. Thank you, Mr. Grover. You are saying that as post-tax, 10% plus is a very good. Yes, thank you. Again, without any roller coaster ride as it is there in equity, right? Submission of data to CIC, credit information companies. Basically, for example, companies like CIBIL, where the data is given of the borrowers. Okay, so that if there is any default by borrowers, it will be informed to this company and it would be circulated uh, at the quickest pace, so that there is, if there is any default, further loan would be not available to the borrower. Hence, this is very helpful, and hence borrowers do not wish to default unless it is a very dire circumstances. Or if I say in a crude way, सारे चोर नहीं होंगे, 100 में से 2-4 ही चोर निकलते हैं. Most of them want to return their money, return the loan which they have there on their head. Managing default risk is, as Mr. Grove is saying, managing default risk is a key. Frankly speaking, it would not be a problem because you would be highly diversified. Hence, your risk would be very minimal. Fund transfer mechanism. How the fund transfer between participants on peer-to-peer lending platforms shall happen through escrow account only. Okay, and operated by a bank promoted trustee. These escrow account, I will tell you why this is very important. Whenever you are transferring any amount for investment, it will go to an escrow account. It will not go to the platform's personal bank account. Okay, it will go to an escrow account which is operated by a bank promoted trustee, and the portal can only give instruction to release the money for the funding of the loan to the borrower, nothing else. Okay, all fund transfers shall be through bank's account and no cash transaction, and cash transaction is strictly prohibited. So the P2P platform is given only view only access to escrow account for monitoring and reporting purpose, nothing else. Okay, so your funds are very much safe via these investment platforms. So this is basically a flow of information or instruction. How the lender tells the platform for lending, how the money is transferred to escrow, what the trust does, and how the borrower receives the money. I already explained this into some details. I don't want to go into all technicalities here. I don't want to bore you out for this. Okay. So fees charge and lender's perspective. Some portal might charge registration fee. It can be ranging from 0 to 1,000. Some might not charge. Again, it depends very much on platform to platform. Transaction fees is charged at 1 to 3%. Again, on usually some people will charge upfront. Some people will charge on the EMI you receive back. So again, this depends on platform to platform. Charges on withdrawal of fund commitment before loan is fully funded. So these are the couple of charges which the platform might add. Okay, not all platform will add all the charges. Some might have all the charges, some might have a couple of them. Again, depending on platform to platform. If you want to exit or you want to remove the money from P2P, how you can do it? When the borrower pays the entire sum borrowed, you can do. For early exit, at times some platforms allow to sell your loan portfolio to some other lender. So basically a lender should be able to buy it. Now there is a listing of secondary marketplace also in their platform itself for this kind of an activity. Okay, and this can happen at par, at the same price, premium or discount. If there's a distress sale, probably some might sell at a discount. If somebody somebody is saying that I have a good loan portfolio, but I'm willing to sell it at a premium, not at a discount. Okay. Now this will again differ from portal to portal. A small comparison of P2P with equity mutual funds. P2P lending will have very low volatility. One has to manage by self. Simple to understand and operate. Time frame to earn the expected return is 6 months to 36 months. Wherein mutual fund, it is highly volatile. Equity mutual fund managed by fund managers. You don't have any role to play. Need financial knowledge and skills. You should understand how the market works, and time frame can be very volatile. You can get a return in 1 year also, and probably you might not get a return in 5 years also. So it again depends. Okay, I think so I missed this. The time frame for giving a loan or the borrower loan, it ranges from 6 months to 36 months. from 6 months to 3 years. Maximum a loan can be given up to 3 years only. A loan can be taken up to maximum for 3 years, minimum for 6 months. Mr. Grow is asking, lender would decide the price of the portal. Please let me know you are talking with respect to what? Are you talking with respect to selling the portfolio? Uh, Again, depends on portal. You can it can be lender, or it can be lender also, or it can be the portal also. Again, depending on the portal. Okay. Risk associated to P2P lending. What if the borrower loses his job, borrower dies, or borrower does not want to pay? Okay, these are the three major risks. So if the borrower lost the job or loses a job, usually some portals does have an insurance in terms of loss of job for a period of 2 to 3 months. By that time, they are supposed to get a job again and pay back the loans. Second is if the borrower dies. Again, in this, few portals will have an insurance in the name of the borrower. If the borrower dies, the loan will be paid by the insurance company. Uh, this is very specific to portal. Some portal might have only accidental death. Some portal will have any kind of death. Okay. Third is borrower does not want to pay. I mean, उसकी नीयत अच्छी नहीं है. Simple as that. If he doesn't want to pay, then his credit score will happen. So these are the three basic risks associated of default. Okay. With this, the session is over. If you have any questions, just let me know. I think Mr. Anil is having one more question. Purpose of loan is for productive purpose or for consumption also. I'm not getting your question very much. If you want, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, Anil this side.
Can you be a little louder, please? I can barely hear you.
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah, far better.
Yeah. So just wanted to ask the borrowers who are coming on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
So they can ask for the loan for different types of purposes, say medical emergency, or it is required to be done only for business purpose. So that's what I wanted to understand.
No,
Whether
no,
it's for
no.
productive purpose or for any damn thing, they can come and ask the money.
They can come for any damn thing. For example, what you said is medical emergency. It can be a school fees also payment, for example. Okay. Or they want to probably grow a business, or there
No,
is some
grow a
pending
business
item.
is fine. Grow a business
But they
means
want to take.
then we know. Yeah, so then I understand that he would be putting in the business and he would be trying to multiply the money and all. Then it's a different matter. However,
Yeah.
if it is for consumption purpose, like paying school fee or
Uh-huh.
medical emergencies or for building furniture or decorating his house and all, then it's a different matter altogether. Then
I would disagree on this. See, the point is somebody is trying to grow his business. There is always a chances of the business also going into losses, right? So in that case, also there can be a default. With respect to other consumption related things which you are talking about, for example, somebody is asking for school fees. Okay, probably that person had a medical emergency right now, and hence he required this for the school fees. Okay, or probably so or probably he has just shifted a job. Okay, he was into one job, he has returned shifted, his money got stuck into FNF, and probably for that short period of time he requires amount for whatever XYZ. Probably someone might require money for his marriage. Okay, so all these cases can be taken into consideration now, what I feel, because people do take loan for personal loan for marriage and stuff like these, right? Or for
yeah,
school.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I mean, this is
No,
perfectly
I'm
fine.
not saying it's good or bad, but I'm saying
My point
it
is,
can be used for both, right?
yeah, it can be used for
Okay.
both. One needs to specify very clearly why they require the money.
And that would be checked and verified by the portal.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for your question, Mr. Grover.
Yeah, it's okay.
Anybody?
Thanks.
If you have any other questions, do let me know. Anybody else having any questions?
So another thing, it's a small thing. What all you have put is 15%. So isn't it too aggressive to uh, expect 15% return, and that to post payment of the platform charges of 1 to 3%? So then we are assuming that 17 to 18% would be the interest rate probably, which will be commanded on an
Correct.
average.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
one. That's
Hmm.
one. And
So
second,
let me start with one
and
and
that
one.
too, that 17-18% means then we are talking of something like 20 to 21%. If we take that 15% what you have put, because there would be some default. It can't be zero. And if we are, if anybody is lending, there has to be a default. It's not possible that we'll continue with a
Correct.
zero default for 5 years, right? So then what we are assuming that we'll be getting a return of 20 to 21%. Then only all the Excel sheets what you showed,
There can
then
be
probably those can materialize. That's what
okay.
my view is.
Okay, let me start with your first question. You said that 15% expectation after the charges is pretty high. I'll tell you the loan itself is starting with 13%, 12 to 13%. Okay, and
Mhm,
that too it is for the borrower which has one of the best credit history.
mhm, mhm,
Okay, so usually people will not come with very good credit history here directly, first point.
mhm,
Okay, or probably will come with no credit history. So if people have
mhm,
low credit history, they will be given a higher rate of say 25, 26%.
mhm, mhm.
Okay, and they don't want to default on their very first loan.
Yeah. Mhm, mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
so see there are categories. Okay,
mhm,
now let me tell you. Okay, if there are categories, you say in the highest risk category for that matter, and
mhm,
you are investing only with borrowers who are having say uh, who is having an interest rate in the range of 25 to 30%.
mhm,
Even assuming there's a 5% default, so you will get
mhm,
20% minus uh, the charges, total charges of 1 to 3%, you can easily make 17 to 80%.
mhm, mhm. Okay.
Correct?
Mhm,
So I think I have answered both the question at one go, right?
mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay.
Agreed. So
Okay.
there can always be a mix and match. Okay, you can
Mhm,
always probably you can go for all the risk profile together that I will be
mhm,
diversifying 100%.
mhm,
I don't
mhm,
go for
mhm,
one particular kind of a borrower. I'll go
mhm,
for all
mhm.
types of borrower, and over the time, I will decide where I can put the money into.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Fair enough?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions, friends? I think Mr. Anil Grover has asked all the question on others people's behalf.
Oh, I'm so sorry if I did
No, 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 no,
that.
no, no offense taken, sir. Please. It was on the lighter note.
No, great, but it was a knowledge enhancing session. Naturally, I learned a lot on this. Thanks, Amit.
Thank you very much for coming up, showing up.
Yeah.
Or you can watch my other sessions, which are already on YouTube. We put all the recordings out there. So
Okay.
if you're eager to learn, there are other sessions also which we have done.
Mhm.
The other sessions were basically on why home loans should not be repaid early or should not be closed early.
Okay.
It should
Mhm.
be closed in a regular time frame. And
Mhm.
one was on retirement planning, and then there was a normal session on different financial products.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll check that out.
please do. The links have been provided below. If you can check on the chat box.
Sure. Sure. I'll
Okay,
check that. Yeah. Great.
most welcome, sir. Anybody else would have? Do you have any other questions, or we can probably sum up? I think most of them are done. Satya Prakash, can you please sum it up?
sir. I would like to thank Amit sir for taking out his time for the session. It was definitely an eye-opening session for all of us. And I would like all our attendees to write us a feedback in the chat box. You can reach out to us on the link provided in the chat box. And as Sir said, if you want to go through our sessions again, the recordings will be available on our YouTube portal. The link for the same has been provided in the chat box. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for joining. Have a pleasant weekend. Thank you. Rupesh sir, do you have a question? Or
हेलो
yes, Rupesh sir.
यस सर, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था कि क्या पॉसिबल नहीं है क्या एक ही बोरोवर एक साथ एक से ज्यादा प्लेटफॉर्म पे अप्लाई करे लोन के लिए? तो
आई एम सॉरी सर, आप अपना क्वेश्चन एक बार रिपीट करेंगे प्लीज?
प्लेटफॉर्म उनको अगर वो अप्लाई करते हैं बोरो के लिए तो क्या ये पॉसिबल है?
आई थिंक आप पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या एक बोरोवर एक से ज्यादा प्लेटफॉर्म से लोन एप्लीकेशन कर सकते हैं?
जी, और अगर ऐसा होगा तो
वो अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उनकी प्रिस्क्राइब लिमिट होती है जो कि सर ने मेंशन करी थी प्रेजेंटेशन में, वो उतनी ही लिमिट तक अप्लाई कर सकते हैं।
ओके, आई विल कम बैक ऑन दिस। सॉरी मैं थोड़ा म्यूट था, सॉरी, मुझे पता ही नहीं चला मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ। मतलब मैं बोल रहा हूँ पर आपको सुनाई नहीं दे रहा। ठीक है, तो मैं आपका क्वेश्चन फिर से फॉर्म कर लेता हूँ। आपने बोला था कि क्या आप कोई अगर बोरोवर अगर कहीं और सारे प्लेटफॉर्म में जाके अगर लोन के लिए अप्लाई करता है तो उसको लोन मिलेगा क्या? तो लोन की एक लिमिट होती है कि आप सारे प्लेटफॉर्म से बोरोवर मैक्सिमम 10 लाख से ज्यादा का लोन नहीं ले सकता।
जी,
ठीक है, तो जैसे इन्वेस्टर की लिमिट है कि वो 50 लाख से ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर सकता अक्रॉस ऑल प्लेटफॉर्म, सेम इज विद द बोरोवर। वो बोरोवर 10 लाख से ज्यादा लोन सारे प्लेटफॉर्म को मिलाकर नहीं ले सकता। सर
अच्छा, नहीं, मेरा यह सवाल था ना कि अगर एक ही साथ वो इस तरह से करता है और वो लिमिट के अंदर ही करता है तो क्या इसकी पॉसिबिलिटी है क्या कि उसको मतलब एक ही काम के लिए, जैसे आप कह रहे हो ना कि वो जिस काम के लिए लोन वो ले रहा है उसी काम के लिए उससे 2 प्लेटफॉर्म या 3 प्लेटफॉर्म से वो उसको लोन मिलने की संभावना है?
ठीक है, मैं इसका भी आपका सवाल का जवाब देता हूँ सर।
पॉसिबिलिटी में
मैं आपकी बात समझ गया रुपेश जी। आप ये बोल रहे हैं कि वो एक साथ एट अ टाइम सब जगह पे अप्लाई करता है। समझो 1-1 लाख का लोन अप्लाई करता है 10 जगह पर, तो उसको 10 लाख रुपए मिल जाएंगे, पर हमें 1 ही लाख दिख रहा है, करेक्ट? तो इसका मैं सवाल का जवाब देता हूँ। जितनी बार अगर आप कहीं पे लोन अप्लाई करते हो उसका रिपोर्टिंग होता है, और जितना लोन आप ज्यादा अप्लाई करते हो उतना आपका क्रेडिट स्कोर कम हो जाता है। ठीक है, उसका रिपोर्ट सीधा सीधा ये CIC में जाता है। ठीक है, सिविल में जाता है, उसका रिपोर्टिंग हो जाता है। तो जैसे रिपोर्टिंग हो जाएगा आपका क्रेडिट स्कोर कम हो जाएगा। तो जितना आप ज्यादा रिपोर्टिंग करेंगे सब जगह पे उतना आपका ही नुकसान है, उल्टा आपको लोन लेने में दिक्कत आएगी फिर। समझ रहे हो रुपेश जी?
हाँ, मैं समझ गया सर, वो मैं समझ गया।
तो अगर ऐसा करेगा सर, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही। आप प्लीज चैट बॉक्स में या तो टाइप कर दीजिए, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही सर।
जी बिल्कुल।
Amit ji, just related questions.
Yes.
So whose responsibility is to monitor the thresholds? ये 10 लाख, 50 लाख और 50,000। 50,000 तो ठीक है, that can be done. but that is also difficult because on one platform, say I invested 25,000 for one person. On another platform, if I apply or if I want to give a loan of more than 25,000 to the same person, will the portal disallow me to put more than 25,000 to the same person? Is there any mechanism, or all these portals are sharing their live data with each other? How it is? No, I'm really finding
Sir,
it difficult
I
to
doubt
comprehend that.
everybody would be sharing their live data to everybody.
So then,
I
if
seriously
suppose I
doubt.
have put 25,000 in one platform, another
Yeah,
platform I go and put more than 25,000 to the same person, so I
yeah,
give 50,000 plus to the same person, right?
correct,
That's one. That is one threshold, which is
correct,
breached. If this is not so, second
correct.
threshold is 10 lakh plus. So a hypothetical example: if one person applies for 2 lakhs of loan at 6 platforms
Yes,
parallelly, right?
yes.
CIBIL data goes, but that goes on a monthly basis. That is not a daily affair by any of the lenders, right? So within that month, suppose it
No,
puts
no,
on
this is,
first.
first of all, civil data is not a monthly affair, it is on a regular basis. So as
Mm,
soon as a person defaults, the reporting has to be done
no, I'm
immediately.
not talking of default. Talking of application. So if anybody lists his application for the loan, so
Hmm.
at 5 or 6 platforms together
Hmm.
at the same time with 2 lakhs each, then
Hmm.
there is a probability, because I think there would be some time limit within which the loan would be evaluated and approved. Say 2 weeks. I'm just putting a number,
First
two
of all,
weeks.
whenever a person applies for loan, it is not that he applies today and he gets the loan tomorrow.
No, no,
Okay.
I'm 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
Yeah.
you'll get in 2 days. That is why I've
No,
already told you
let me
2 weeks.
complete. Let me complete, Mr. Grover. So, as a person comes for loan, for getting a loan, first of all, the evaluation will be done by the portal, which might
Hmm,
take around 1 to 2 weeks.
hmm,
Second
hmm.
thing is again 15 days is given for the borrower to generate or get his loan approved or
Right,
his loan to be funded by the lenders.
right.
So if the loan gets listed on the platform or basically at the marketplace, there are different borrowers who needs to say that yes, I am willing to give this person a loan,
Okay,
which again is time consuming.
right. Okay.
It will not happen even immediately.
Okay, so got your point. So practically, you are saying it will not be possible. Okay,
It
fine.
won't-
But that
yeah.
theoretically, I don't know.
So
Theoretically, it would be
theoretically, many
possible.
things happen.
Practically, I agree. Practically, I take your answer, right? But theoretically, it can still happen. That's why. But the
Sir,
third threshold, what you are saying, this 50 lakhs, because I'm not convinced with the answer, but still, I agree with you on
what
practical
50
aspect.
lakhs, sir? Sorry,
And
50,000 or
the
50
third,
lakhs?
no, the third is 50 lakhs by the lender,
Yeah,
right?
lender cannot
Suppose
invest more than
suppose
50 lakhs.
suppose a lender is at again say 5 platforms and he puts 20 lakhs each. So who would monitor?
Basically, RBI is supposed to monitor.
So RBI doesn't monitor. I don't know. RBI doesn't do this
RBI is
job.
supposed to monitor. Whether he monitors or
No, no,
not,
I
that
agree. Amit, I agree with you. But RBI doesn't do this job. I understand
I
how
know.
RBI works. RBI
I know,
doesn't do this
I
type of
know,
job.
I know. Even I know RBI will not, frankly
So
speaking,
that
even
also
if you put 50 lakhs,
theoretically it is there, but practically it can't happen by RBI in this case.
uh, so theoretically you can put probably 1 crore into two platforms, 50 lakhs
Yeah,
each.
right. That's
Probably,
what I'm
no,
saying.
probably it will get unnoticed.
Yeah, but whenever it gets noticed, obviously there might be
There
some
would be
action.
a repercussion which you have to
There would be
handle.
repercussions that point in time. But right
Uh,
now, I don't think there is a. That is why I asked this question: How who monitors? So I don't think anybody
RBI is
there is a
supposed to
mechanism to
monitor.
monitor.
Whether they
Sup-
monitor or not, I
I agree.
cannot tell you
So
that.
underlying is supposed to. I agree. Right.
RBI is
Okay.
supposed to. Whether they do or not, nobody can tell that.
Correct.
Only
Correct.
RBI can
Correct.
tell that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I
So
understand.
because they are the this.
Yeah,
Uh,
they only came out with the circular. They only have put this, and why did they put it? Only they know.
First
Anyway,
of all, these companies, when they started off, there was
hmm.
no regulator.
Yeah, I know. I know.
RBI
Earlier it
was
was not
put
there.
as a regulator. So
Yeah,
basically, it is like an extra job given to them.
yeah.
And any job which is given to you extra, I don't know how wholeheartedly you do it.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, 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 I know.
So
Hmm.
it is everybody's guess, I would say.
Yes, yes, yes. Understand. फाइन अमित।
ओके, राजेश जी आपका जवाब मिल गया या कुछ पूछना है तो बताइए सर। रुपेश जी, सॉरी, राजेश जी नहीं, रुपेश जी, सॉरी। Satyaprakash, the link for the YouTube has not come. You can just put it separately, please. And हाँ, रुपेश जी बताइए।
हाँ, मुझे सवाल का जवाब मिल गया। अभी आपने जो बताया उससे बहुत हद तक सवाल का जवाब मिल गया।
धन्यवाद सर।
जो आप बताना चाह रहे थे, और जो छुपाना चाह रहे थे, वो दोनों।
सर मैंने तो कुछ छुपाया नहीं, जो भी आपके सामने सर।
नहीं, वो क्लियर है वो।
सर
हाँ,
मेरी शक्ल भी नहीं छुप
वो
रही।
समझ नहीं, मैं समझ रहा हूँ सर, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। आप मतलब जो नहीं कहना चाह रहा था ना, कहता है कुछ कहना और कुछ नहीं कहना, वो चलिए आप, हाँ मैं समझ रहा हूँ।
धन्यवाद सर।
हाँ, बढ़िया सर, बहुत अच्छा से सर आपका जा रहा।
प्लीज आपके जो भी रिव्यूज हैं, यू कैन पुट इट ऑन डिफरेंट पोर्टल्स। हमारे लिंक्डइन के पोर्टल्स हैं, हमारे फेसबुक के पोर्टल्स हैं। प्लीज अप्रिशिएट अस, इट वुड बी वेरी लविंग ऑफ यू टू डू सो, so that we are encouraged to do these kind of session on a regular basis. Thank you बबीता जी, you are a regular for us. आपकी आवाज कम सुनी है आज तक, पर अच्छा लगा, आप हमेशा आते हैं हमारे सेशंस में। हाँ रुपेश जी, कुछ कह रहे थे आप? हेलो सर, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
जो है
ओके, एनीवेज ठीक है। ओके, आई थिंक सत्य प्रकाश, यू कैन जस्ट रैप इट अप। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. All the links have been posted in the chat box. So all the participants are requested to leave a feedback on each of these platforms and connect us on these platforms. Thank you so much.